Good morning and welcome. It is Monday the 25th of July. I am Flat Cap Callum. I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Coming up today, it's a busy video. So we've got today's bets, which are going to be a £20 day. So I imagine it's going to be a higher stakes week, particularly compared to the last couple of weeks, because there'll be some volume and quality at both Goodwood and Galway. I'm starting the week £20. I could have done a little bit more. I'm happy with 20 quid. So starting with 20 quid, full stake. It is 5 bets though, so there's quite a lot of variety going on. Lucky 15s, Trixies, patents, going all over the shop with our permutations on this. We've got the review of yesterday, and we've got the review of the golf as well, and then we'll do a few stats around last week generally and how we're looking. So lots to get through. Yesterday, horses review, that's nice and quick. So we had 5 on, nothing back, nothing even got placed. It happens, we're playing with some big prices. Desert Doctor probably was unlucky, I think. I think it would have got 5th, which would have been enough for Sky Bet. And it drifted to 40 to 1, which it should never have done, really. It's interesting, in that race, the horse that was second, 28 to 1. I quite like that horse in that race, but again, it's about value. So in the morning when I did the video, 9 to 1, I wasn't going to put it in. 28 to 1 it drifted to. It should never have gone that far. Nines was a solid price, but 28. So just because horses drift in the market does not mean that is lowering their chances of running well. It just means less people think that horse is going to run well. And so you don't always have to follow the crowd with these things. But very simple yesterday, 5 on, 0 back. With the golf, we had 12 on, 13.41 back. I got it as a £1.41 profit. So a very small profit, but it was pretty gutting. And I'll go through that when we get to Lucky 15. So we had this, nothing back here. Callum Shinkwin was the closest, but nothing back on our singles for that one. With the cross-tournament one, Richie Ramsey won the Kazoo Classic, but I didn't have him on a single bet at 20s. And then Langer didn't improve, and Bohogue was okay, but not close. So, yeah, nothing back, even though we did technically, we did have the winner of the tournament, but just not on a single bet. So that is that. We then had the Each Way Trixie, which all of these went down except Sung Young Noel, who just missed out. He was 4th best Asian on that one. And then this is the one that I was following it all afternoon, gutted. So we made a profit on the bet. So it was 13.41 is what it returned for the £6 bet. So it was a double money for the bet, and it made us slightly profitable for the golf for the week. Tricky thing was there was a good chunk of the afternoon where it was a lot better than that, and we're talking about slim margins. So Marcus Kinhult was tied best Swede. At one point he was outright Swede. Santiago Torrio was tied best Spanish. He ended up being 2nd best Spanish, and Callum Tarrant was outright top European. He ended up being tied top European. So the difference between is such small margins. That was £80 odd versus £13, and £80 would have been lovely, particularly for the golf stats. It wasn't to be. We'll go again this week and see what I can rustle up. So overall, that concludes horses. We were up £26 last week. I've got it as golf up about £1, so £27 total for the week for the channel, which is nice because although the last couple of weeks haven't been bad, statistically speaking, we haven't actually made profit on the horses or the channel. So for the last 2 weeks, so nice to get a little bit back in the profit. Overall, that leaves the channel 10 point something up for horse bets total, and 7 point something for all bets for the channel. So in profit. So nice place to be coming into this week. Got 1 week left of July. For the channel stats, we are behind for the month of July, and we were behind in May and June. So it'd be really, really nice if we can have a nice little week this week to end July on a high, because been definitely knocking on the door the last few weeks. Just not managed to get something big landed, which is frustrating. But that's how it is. All right. So today, what have we got? So I didn't want to just focus just on Galway. I didn't want to kind of lose sight of what was going on elsewhere. And there's a nice meeting at Ayr. I've also found quite a few bits at Windsor I liked. So I've got 2 bets non-Galway and then 3 Galway, all focused on the 4 handicaps at Galway. Okay, here we go. So this is my non-Galway Lucky 15, just doing a smaller stake one. And all bets today are preferable with Sky, with the exception of I've got a Win Trixie for Windsor. And that is basically any way you can get the best price, because best price guaranteed will be paid across all races. So it's about shopping around for best price at the point you put the bet on. So Sky bet for this, 245 Ayr, Judgment Call 20-1, 320 Ayr, Glasses Up 9-1, and then the 425 at Ayr, Burton Lodge Beauty 22-1, 840 Windsor, Mujid 17-2. It's a 16p each way lucky 15, and I've got a 30p each way double on the 2 bigger prices who happen to be, haven't done it deliberately, but they happen to be stable mates and same ownership, different jockeys, but same trainer, same owner. It wasn't deliberate. There's not like a thing I think I've got inside knowledge on that. I just independently like the look of both horses at the prices. They are in together. So that is bet 1 for Ayr. Then I've snuck in a Win Trixie at Windsor. Would you believe? All Windsor. I think this is worth its place in my betting strategy for today. We've got 5:30 Ayr show, 6 o'clock cruise, and a 7:35 pub crawl. It sounds like a brilliant day out, doesn't it? Ayr show, cruise, pub crawl. I mean, you can't make this stuff up all at the same meeting. So get out to Windsor for the Ayr show, cruise, and pub crawl. So that is a 60p Win Trixie for Windsor, no singles. So it's a £2.40 bet. So that's doubles and trebles, win only, no singles on that bet. Win Trixie. And then we're into Galway. So Galway, what do we know about Galway? It's a funny old meeting, Galway, because it goes on all week, and there's some jumps and some flat, like I said yesterday. Some decent quality, some not so. So you really got. It's not like some of these festivals, like a Cheltenham or an Ascot where everything's decent quality. It's mixed at Galway. So you interlace with some really nice quality races. You've got some absolute donkey races to a degree. It's about picking and choosing your moments. On the flat at Galway, generally I'd want to be going low. So Galway Goodwood, as a rule, lower is better over shorter distances. But obviously some of this stuff is factored into the market, so you've got to take into account. So sometimes you're going to go wide draw on a decent price that you think's worth taking a chance. But generally you want to be lower on the lower distances at Galway and Goodwood. What I would say from Galway is definitely its pace is what I look at. So on my stuff I keep record of, Galway being up with the pace and leading is much preferable to a hold up horse at Galway. Galway and Goodwood both got tight bends. You can be a bit of a closer at Goodwood. The problem is you need absolute luck in running because you get bustled about. In Galway, it's much more preferable to be up with the pace. So I'm generally detracting from hold up horses out the back. I want to try and find horses that are going to be up with the pace, and pretty much that to me, for me, it's a cross discipline. So I probably look at that and jumps as well as flat, although it's probably more pronounced on the flat. Just to give you a bit of a steer, that's I don't normally like share all this insight stuff sometimes, but it's helpful just to give people thoughts about different things to look at, because when I'm factoring in research, I look at almost anything I can to try and find an angle on these things. And people will say it's all in the market, it's all factored into price. I find things that aren't, and clearly in the last few days when we've been knocking at 40s and 50s and 66 to 1 shots placing, clearly the market doesn't get it right all the time. So it's about putting the research in. So here we go, main bet for the day at Galway. We're going 540 Trevenna. This is the race, and I've got some cross doubles. This is the one that's got the most value in for me. There is a ton of horses here at decent prices that I think are worth looking at. So I've just by a smidgen gone Trevenna as my best value one in that race. But there's a lot could run well. And the challenge with it is the front couple in the market do look decent. So I'm not going anywhere near them, but they do look decent. It's a tricky one, this. Then we've got the 640 Galway, second best race of value. Favourite Moon I'm going with at 50. So I'm starting off this bet with some big uns. and then 7.15 Lady I'll win 9s, and then 7.50 actually at 12s. It's a standard 20p each way lucky 15 for the channel, and then I've just put 25p each way singles on Trevenna and Favourite Moon on that bet to make it a £7 bet for the main Galway lucky 15. Then I've got cross doubles like we haven't done before, because I've got 4 in one leg and 2 in the other. So this works out as 8 double combinations. And I had a non-runner, which I was perfectly fine to be honest with, because it was my 4th choice, and I had an easy 5th choice to sub in at the same price. So Tudor Manor would have been in, it's out, so I've got Powers Bomb in, so happy enough with it. So in the 540, I've got 4 here: Powers Bomb, Trevenna. This one I knew I was going to have a struggle with. Listen Till It Tell You, and then Feel de Mott. So all 4 of those on the 640 Favourite Moon, Call My Bluff. So we're going for trying to get some cross doubles at big prices here. 8 times 15p each way doubles. So you put all 4 of the 541s in your bet slip, the 2 and the 640, and that should give you 8 doubles. It will say 8 times 15p each way. So we are firmly on the big prices in those 2. And then to finish us off at Galway, I've also got a patent bet. So I don't do this very often, but there wasn't enough to make it a lucky 15, and I didn't want to necessarily up the stake today, so I've done it as a patent. So that's each way doubles, trebles and singles. Normally on this channel I normally stick to Trixies, but this is a patent bet. So we're covering the singles on this as well. So 540 Listen Tell You, 640 Call My Bluff 25s, and then 7.15 Queen's Pardon at 12s. It's a 20p each way patent, £2.80 your bet. That should take it up to £20. All right, that is that. So okay, I think we're there. I've done the reviews, I've done a few stats, I've talked about the golf, I've done the bets. I think we're there. All right, okay. So for this week, it will be busy. So tomorrow Goodwood starts. So there'll be Goodwood and Galway. The other thing about Goodwood and Galway, both are very susceptible to rain, which is an absolute pain as well when you're trying to do things. So these two meetings can be minefields. So the going can change very quickly. So, and the forecast this week is changeable, which is not helpful. So yeah, it definitely pays to be looking at the ground, particularly at Goodwood. It can go soft very quick. So yeah, the ground is another factor that's quite important this week. So there is a lot. So hopefully I'm sending you vibes. These are puzzle meetings to try and solve. So I shall navigate best I can through here for those of you who are following what I'm doing, and we'll see if we can get to the other side with limited damage. Ideally some profit, but never guarantee. What we can guarantee is I'll try and put some interesting bets out and have a bit of a fun interest through the day, and then fingers crossed by the end of it we've made a bit of money and we haven't lost a lot. But there we go. All right, I will see you in the morning for Galway day 2, Goodwood day 1, and whatever else I find to shove in with them. Thanks very much. Cheerio.